I'm back, I'm doing it again. I'm folding, washing and chatting to you guys. It's actually the weekend and half purposely left another pile of clothing down here, and I think my husband secretly thanks me for it. He doesn't have to fold it. I actually ask him to leave it. I'm like, no, leave it. It gives me something to do and I can do these videos because I can't really do any other like chit chat and cleaning videos. This seems to be the easiest way to do it to you guys, but it is the weekend. I'll give you an update on a couple of things. I did ask on my Instagram channel, ask me some questions, and I had a look over them. There was a few of them, quite a few of them, and the main kind of topics that were coming out was in regards to our home, updates on our home, so I will get to that, and some things around budgeting. So I'll break it down first. Our home. So we bought our 1940s Queenslander home. We are renovating it. It is going well. We've gotten all of our council approvals required. Do I iron that? No, let's not. That'd be fine. I'm getting worse as I get older. I used to iron everything and now I'm like, nah. Can get away with that. Everything is tracking along really well. We're just waiting for the builder to come back with some pricings on our internal stairs. We're going to get them made off site and then they're going to bring them in and build them. Nothing's like heavily started yet because if you've watched the video where I give like a mini tour through, we've got some issues with some very large trees we have to get taken down. The council's happy for us to get them taken down. We are going to have some chats with our neighbours to let them know what we're doing. So that's a whole process there. And then we're getting an engineer's report done in regards to a load-bearing wall and our best approach to, we don't want to keep it, but it comes down to cost now, how expensive it's going to be to remove it, put different beams in, open up a section of it, open the whole thing up. It's a bit of a, not a puzzle piece, but it's not just take the wall out and put a beam in. You can't do that. And the way we've designed it, we kind of have a wall going in, but in a different spots, and maybe we could save money there because renovating is all about saving money. So anyway, that is ticking along. I don't really have more to update on the property, and you probably won't see anything else in regards to it until early next year. I was hoping that we would be sort of moving in around Christmas time. It is not going to happen at all, and that's fine. Our first Christmas will be next year in the home, which happy to do. I'm still working on some bits and pieces for like the kids' rooms, styling it. I have bought more furniture, which I will share with you guys in probably like another month or two. I'll probably share some ideas. I do actually have a Pinterest page, not that it shows you what I've done, but I've got like ideas for like rooms and those sort of things. So I have been like thrift shopping, looking for like some DIY hacks and that sort of thing. I'm pretty hung up on the stairs at the moment. So upstairs house is actually original floorboards and we're keeping them. Downstairs we're going to lay new floorboards, which will be a different color. They'll be a lot lighter than what is upstairs, and then I'm trying to figure out what to do with the stairs. And I found this really nice design where they painted the stairs white and then they done artwork on the stairs, and then I'm looking at, do I put like a run of carpet like down the middle of the stairs? I saw this other one, but I think our home's too small and it would just absorb the color. She painted the stair railing and the whole entire staircase black, jet matte black, and it looked really good. It was an old Queenslander. But where our stairs are going, I just don't think the sunlight's gonna pull it off very well, and it might make the room look a bit smaller, and I don't want that. So I'm busy like looking at stairs on Pinterest and designs and ideas, and I joined a Facebook page all about Queensland renovations. So I spend a lot of my evenings spending like 10-20 minutes scrolling through, getting ideas on things, and then getting sidetracked on other things. But very sadly, before I move on from the topic of the house, very sadly, weeks ago now, I mentioned on my Instagram page, I saw this really nice hanging, what do you call it, rattan bamboo cane chair, like you hang it from the ceiling. It's like one of those really nice swinging chairs. And where we are, we get a really nice coastal breeze. Where we're moving to, we will get a nice breeze come through. And this chair, I regret not doing it. The chair was half price. It was down to, I think, $180 or $100 and something dollars. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. And I didn't get it because lockdown happened 2 days later. And I called the store, a basket there. I called the store and she's like, no, they've completely sold out. And if you can find one, she looked up on the system. She said there is none in Australia. But she goes, if you can find one, they're down to $9. And I know when I worked in retail, when things were like out of stock or like written off, they would be like 20 cents. So that they're definitely long gone. So I'm on the hunt for like a nice outdoor swing cane kind of chair. And I'm super bummed because you can get them from other stores, but they're like $500. And now I'm refusing to pay that amount because I know what I could get them for. So that's the update on the house. Nothing really exciting going on there. I will share more when I can share more. I feel like I probably should have given you guys a bit more of an update, but that's where it's at. So I'll get onto the budgeting one in a sec. I was also a little bit hesitant too. The past, what was it, day and a bit, I think today or yesterday it was, a case happened in Queensland. A child tested positive, a truck driver tested positive for COVID. So I've been on like tender hooks the past day or two, wondering if we're going to go into a lockdown, and we haven't yet. I think that's just going to be like an ongoing thing. So that's the update there. But then I had a lot of questions coming through around budgeting and that sort of thing. And I've actually been playing around with, I know there is a very popular influencer, Jordan Page, and she does this thing in September called Shelftember, where you don't buy groceries, or you buy like the bare basics of groceries, and you go through like your shelves in your fridge, freezer and pantry. This is still wet. And you literally eat down your house and home, and it's a great way just to like bring your budget back down and get back on track. And I think it's fantastic. I've done it a week last year. I do think you need to plan for it though. Like if you have no food in your home, you can't do it. I'm not doing it this year because, to be honest, September rolled around and I was like, hello September. Do I need to iron that one? I probably should. But what I have been doing, because in Australia I know we're a little bit different with summer holidays, and then we go back to school late January. So I've gotten some things in plan for February around budgeting and how to re-budget. The basket down there. I might put some questions out in the coming month or two on things you might like to include or things that you're struggling with in regards to budgeting. But I have talked about it before in regards to budget, what the word means. Everyone's on a budget. We are definitely going to be on a tighter budget soon with the renovations kicking into gear. Still paying rent and just trying to find our feet between here, the move and that sort of thing. So I've started to make a list. I'm a list person. I really like making lists. I've made a list of things that will start piling up. Are we going to pay for cleaners? Are we going to clean ourselves? We aren't doing like we move out on this day into that home and hand the keys over for this property. We'll probably have this property for like 3 or 4 weeks before we hand the keys back. So in that time, could I clean myself? Because some of the quotes we were getting through, I'm hoping that's a doll's hair, because that's really I had a look, and some of the quotes to get a house clean, because it is, still got it on me, it must be a Barbie doll's hair. It must be. We have a 2 garage, 4 bedrooms. Although it's not a huge home, those costings come in at about $750, $800 to get our house bond cleaned. And I'm sort of looking at, well, if I've got 3 weeks up my sleeve, could I do it myself? You might be thinking that's crazy, but when you look at the budget and the cost to move, removalists are not cheap. We are going to do it bit by bit, but we still need removalists to move like the fridges and couches and bedding and that sort of thing. So I've started working out budgets for that, and I think with budget, it's not just you have a budget and that's it. You will constantly, well, I do, I'm no expert, these are just things that I do to make sure I'm always questioning and challenging the budget that we are on, how we can do things differently, how we can get ahead more. I have a budget for groceries, I have a budget for things that are coming up, birthdays and that sort of thing. I can almost say my Christmas budget shopping is done. I'm almost done. I started probably 2 months ago doing our Christmas shopping because I set my budget. I've used some of my flybuy points. I've used some of my shop back point. I've converted them across to cash. I'm using money from that to juggle around to get the Christmas and my son's birthday shopping done. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks I'd like to give myself. Why did I put that in there? So I think budgeting is an evolving, ongoing thing, and I just like playing around with numbers and figures. I think I was better at math at school than English. Not that there's any connection between me liking budgeting. I've just always been one of those people. I remember doing it, but my mum and my nana tell me a story that when I was little, we used to go to like the flea markets, like full on, almost the scungy flea markets where people had their boots open and it was just junk in them. I used to go all the time with my grandparents on the weekends, and we would get 50 cents, and I would only purchase something if I got change. Whether I loved the item or not, that wasn't the issue. The issue was I still had to have money. I don't know if I've ever told that story before, but I guess that theory's kind of stayed with me throughout my entering adulthood and through my adulthood, is I just like to manage my daughter coughing. They've just gone down to sleep. I really look at how I can manage my money. Do I really want to fold these sheets right now? No. And for me, I think budgeting is a great way to reduce stress, because if you have money issues and times get tough and hard and trying to work out how you're going to pay bills, school excursions so your kids don't miss out, dental issues, health appointments, it can get really stressful. So I've got spreadsheet after spreadsheet and breakdown after breakdown of things that we're working towards and goals and we're saving up for. I caught up with my girlfriend today and we were just chatting. I don't know how the conversation came up, but she was talking about when she turns 40, she has a plan. Oh, they're saving up for something. I feel terrible now, I can't remember. She's probably going to watch this video. And she's saving up for something, and she said she's got a goal. When she's 40, she would like to buy herself a new car. So she has a car now. I think we've got 3 years, 4 years, and she'll be 40, and she has a plan. And I thought, you know what? I don't hear of many people these days going, I'm going to budget and save up for that. She could easily just get a credit card and put it on the credit card, but she's like, no, let's be realistic. I've got other little goals in the middle, and she had a plan in place. The time she has her 40th, she would like to be in a position where she can go, I can upgrade my car, I'd like to buy a new car. And I don't think a lot of people do that now. I had a big chat with a follower through private DMs, and I won't share details on her, around what's the like the credit card company, Afterpay, and she was having issues getting credit ratings to buy her home. And I had mentioned on story, I think it was through Instagram, around Afterpay, that I don't offer it on my website for my boards, because I'm a believer that you should save up for something and then purchase it. A bit different for a car and a house, but other things I think we can be in a position where we save for them and then we purchase them. And she said that she was having the hardest time trying to get any approvals for a home loan, because I just saw all these Afterpays, and the banks view Afterpay, it's a loan. So every time you Afterpay for a coffee, Afterpay at Kmart, the banks just see it as a loan. And I think, well, if you can't afford to pay for your purchases like this, how can you afford to make repayments? And that's just how the banks view it. Whether you agree or not, that's just how they view Afterpay. The amount of face masks I'm washing, and we're in Queensland, we're going to have to wear, and we wear them every day. I don't know how you guys are doing it down south, but the amount of filters in the face mask that we're throwing out, and the face mask that I'm cleaning. I have a third child. What was I saying? Yeah, the Afterpay. Yes, I don't offer it, and this follower was just chatting about it, and I said it's actually quite dangerous how things are marketed these days. I remember when credit cards, the process you had to go through to get approved for a credit card, and then it just became get a credit card. Anyone can get a credit card. And now it's not even a credit card. Now it's just sign a line for Afterpay and purchase what you want. And then they go into massive debt. There was actually a thing on the news the other night. How much money had Afterpay lost? Like $1.8 million. Because what Afterpay do is, this is what the news people said from what I read. Don't take it as like full-on factual, do your own research on it. But Afterpay take on your debt and you're supposed to make the repayments. If you don't make the repayments, I need to get more washing. There we go. If you don't make the repayments in a certain time frame, they then they sell that debt to debt collectors, and then the debt collectors chase you. So even Afterpay is probably going through a bit of these people aren't paying. They're probably still making a bucket load of money because interest is charged. Where does this belong? But yeah, it's just interesting. I've never really grown up using that stuff. I don't use that stuff. We don't even have a credit card anymore. And when I did have a credit card, it was purely because, oh, this is wet. We got points, and the points were great to have. It was part of our home loan package, but I always paid it off. The 30th of every month, I would just pay, I've always got odd socks again, I would just pay the full amount of the credit card bill. So it was never I needed to use it. I always lived within my means. So I don't know if that's a topic of anyone that they're interested in, but I will be doing a little bit more on the financing. Get through Christmas, get through back to school, because I know that can be a busy and expensive time for a lot of people. And I've got a little something that I'm hoping is going to get us all reset to get the year started next year. I know there's a lot of people who have definitely found COVID through a spanner in the works with having to homeschool. Maybe job losses occurred. Maybe someone's reduced hours because they're now a teacher at home, like what do you call them? Homeschooling their children. We do have family friends that started a business down in New South Wales, and that the whole thing got paused because they stopped tradies travelling. I think that still might be on pause, so they've had a massive impact. I think people relocating to Queensland got paused, so now they're paying for rent. They can't move. So I know it's not super simple and easy times at the moment. And I don't want to bring this out too quick, so I want to go through and make sure I'm covering off on a few things in regards to budgeting and that sort of stuff there. So they're probably I don't want to go into like too much details and that sort of thing, but that's probably what my topic of conversation is for budgeting. In saying that, I'm not a guru. I'm not a financial person. I have only just booked my tax in to get done next week. It's been on my list of things to do for quite a while, and lockdowns just keep hammering at the moment. And we're probably one of the luckiest states where we only have snap lockdowns, and I think the longest we've had has been like just over a week or 2 weeks. So I do feel for those in Sydney and Melbourne that are just constantly in a lockdown. I guess the positive, because there's always a positive, is that's become a short-term norms. I would hope that you guys are in some sort of a routine in your lockdowns now. I don't know how long it's been for like Sydney. 2 months? 3 months? No, it's been longer than that. Going back to like June, isn't it? We're in September. I don't know. I don't know how the other countries are going. I've tried really hard not to watch too much news. I actually, on my personal Instagram page, I think, signed up to my state council's Instagram page to get updates on the COVID cases. I'm not enjoying watching, actually that can go over here, I'm not enjoying watching the news at the moment. There's too much happening in the world, but I wanted to keep up to date with what's happening locally around me and that sort of thing. So I joined the Facebook page, not the Facebook page, the Instagram page, and I get like the updates every morning, the updates on how many cases, where we're up to, if there's any lockdowns, restrictions, masks, all that sort of stuff. And then I basically close it down and I'm done. That's all I need to hear. So I recommend, if you're down in Victoria or New South Wales and you're struggling with the situation you're in, is to pull the news back. Stop being so absorbed in the news around you and just focus on your bubble. A girlfriend I used to work with, what did she used to say? not my monkeys, not my circus. And she used to just focus on the area around her, what she was responsible for, and not let the rest get to you. We actually worked in a very high risk environment while we were doing this, and it could become quite overwhelming with some of the things that we would see and do. And she used to say, not my circus, not my monkeys, which means that if they were her monkeys, that's what she managed, but these ones weren't her monkeys. So she just focused on the issues in front of her. So if you are in lockdown, I think that's a great motto to use. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Whereas my children, they're my monkeys. And they are absolutely buggered tonight. Caught up with a girlfriend today. I don't know if I mentioned that at the start of this video or not, but caught up with a girlfriend today, and my kids ran and played and played and ran. Took them out for lunch. They fell asleep in the car on the way home. They came home and they ran and they played and they ran and they played and snoring their head off by 7 o'clock tonight. They're absolutely buggered, which is good. One still might be going down. It means that my husband, he's got some study to do so he can get his study done. He actually has a podcast, so he's playing with the podcast. If you're into like music or movies, or your husband in, he's actually got a really interesting podcast. And it's given me a chance to fold some washing, which I've now finished, and I'm very proud of myself. So I don't know how long this video was. It was kind of just like an update and a chit chat to see how everyone is going. If you are still in lockdown and you have some tips you could share with anyone else listening to this, because I know this video here, a lot of people just turn it on and they have it in the background. You don't necessarily sit and watch me fold washing. I know a lot of you do because you're a mum and you might be breastfeeding or just enjoying a cup of tea and you love the sound of my voice, which is totally fine. I literally have just like wiped all my makeup. My hair's been pulled back. Desperately need to wash my hair. So I don't expect you guys... Oh, sorry guys, my camera died and I just found 2 more socks that still don't match and a face cloth. And I have no idea where I was up to. I think I might have been asking that if you are in still lockdown and you can have tips that you can share with someone that is getting you through, because it is quite extensive down in Victoria and New South Wales with your lockdowns. I do know it's actually been a couple of months for some of you guys. I hope everyone keeps safe. I am going to stack my washing over there because these crates are perfect to do that. These are crates I got from, what's the company called? Typo, which is a brand through Cotton On here in Australia, and they're great crates. They stack and they actually collapse down to like next to nothing. I use them as our washing baskets now, and I also use them to do our grocery shopping in. Absolutely love them. So I'm going to stack them over there. I'm going to be very, very boring and sit down and have a cup of tea and edit and get this up to you guys. So keep safe and we will talk soon.